You've worked hard to earn and save. Now it's time to make your money work hard for you. This is Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida of A Better Way Financial.
Gentlemen, the questions around Wall Street. It's not even like every day there's a different headline. I swear, some mornings I'll be looking at my phone and everything's great, and then all of a sudden, boom, lunchtime. It's like headlines, chaos.
Or the opposite.
Right. But seriously, it's not even day to day. It's like hour to hour, minute to minute these past few weeks, it feels.
Yeah. And some big swings. Definitely a lot of turbulence.
Mm-hmm. Wall Street has suffered, and the thing about it is the loss. It's been so quick. The turnaround, it's a very short period of time, and then maybe the next day it comes right back, and then we're back in the red again. It's reacting, obviously, to tariff talk, obviously, as well, recent talk about Fed and what's Jerome Powell doing and what's his position going to continue to be. For many savers, it might be hard not to look at your retirement accounts to see evidence of this roller coaster we're all on together. But studies say, guys, doing that too frequently, it's not a good thing. So what should people keep in mind about their investments during turbulent times like these?
Well, Heather, we're very blessed here at A Better Way Financial because, we go through this with our clients, and what we do is we show them, hey, look at these graphs. Look at what the stock market's done over the years. I mean, the stock market's been around longer than any of us, and they say the past doesn't equal the future. It means it's not exactly the same, but you know what? These patterns seem to be pretty similar throughout history.
Got it.
Yeah. You see that the markets go up, the markets go down, the markets go up, the markets go down. But over the long haul, they tend to have the best average returns out of anything out there.
Okay.
A lot of times I'm sitting there and, talking to people that are at our workshops and talking about, well, where are you going to invest your money to get the best returns? And, over the long run, the stock market is the best, and every once in a while somebody will say, well, what about real estate? And then I'll ask the people in the room, how many of you own rental properties? And invariably, a few hands will go up, and I'll ask them, I'll say, is the real estate market, when you're owning rental properties, is that really a true investment, or is it actually a business? And they're like, oh, no, it's a business. You've got to work it. You got to get tenants. You got to fix the place. You got to hope they don't mess up the place. You get the phone call 2:00 in the morning that the pipe broke, all of that stuff. Yeah. The stock market has none of that. You just put your money in. You've made your investment. What people don't realize is that things change when you retire. It changes the whole ball game, doesn't it, Frankie?
Yeah, it absolutely does. And as you get closer to retirement, you need to change the way that you invest, because you can't invest the same way, or you shouldn't invest the same way you did in your 20s, 30s, and 40s in your 50s, 60s, and 70s. Because once you start to take money out of the portfolio, if you're experiencing a large market decline, like we have seen on average, every 6 to 7 years, there's a decline of 20% or more. And if the market has a decline like that and you're pulling money out of the market, that could be problematic. So there needs to be some change in the investment strategy so that you have some safe money investments where you can take that income out without having to worry about, well, what's going on and am I selling low now in the market? And that's why you want to have the portfolio set up where you don't have everything exposed to the market.
Look, the markets are going to dip. We know they're going to dip. They've always dipped. So when they go down, if you sell at that point, you're locking in the loss and you're taking money away that eventually the markets have always come back. So, what are you doing? You're kind of like shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah. And like the question was asking about how you should have your money invested during these turbulent times and how often you should be looking at it. If you try to look at it every day, you're going to be making yourself sick. So don't bother looking at it every day. They say usually the best amount of time is once a quarter to have it reviewed, to look through how the investments have performed. And that's always a good thing to have done for you. But it's also good to have an idea of what the long-term plan is. And that's the real reason why a lot of our clients aren't as shocked or scared about what's going on with the market, is because they have a plan. They have a long-term plan. And they know that within this long-term plan, we show them strategies that whether the market performs really, really well or whether it performs really, really poorly, they're still in a position designed for success in their retirement. So when you have a plan that shows you're going to be successful, whether the market does well or whether the market does poorly, it gives you a lot of confidence to know that you don't have to stress about what's going on with the market. You don't have to look at your account every day to see, well, what's happening today? Am I going to be okay now? Oh, the market went down 5% today. Am I going to be okay? You already know that when there are those market crashes, because they do happen so often, these are going to be a part of your retirement, and you need to make sure that your plan is going to work regardless of what happens with the stock market. So if you haven't had your portfolio reviewed, if you haven't had those investments looked at to see, well, how are they performing and what is the level of risk associated with them? We're going to give you an opportunity today to give us a call for your complimentary portfolio X-ray and review, where we're going to look through how is that portfolio performing? Is it doing what it needs to do? Or is it maybe taking on more risk than you feel comfortable with? If you're 55 and older and you save $500,000 or more for your retirement, give us a call for your complimentary portfolio X-ray and review. 610-440-3722. That's 610-440-3722.
Frankie, it kind of reminds me of that couple that came in, real nice couple, and they got spooked by the market. But they were also having this other issue. He wanted to retire in about a year, and his employer had told him, look, we're going to start where, everybody's going to have to come back into the office every single day.
That wasn't going to work for him. He was working in New York City, and then COVID happened, and they said, okay, well, you guys can work from home. He's like, great, because I'm sick of making that commute. I'm working at home. I'm enjoying working at home. And if they're going to make me come back, I'm not coming back.
When you're dealing with rush hour traffic, from here to New York, the Lehigh Valley to New York, it could take 2 hours.
Easily.
And 2 hours back. That's 4 hours of your life every day.
Every day. That's a lot.
And, when we looked at his portfolio, they had really gotten spooked from the market. And they took all of their investments out of the market, and they had put them all into treasuries. And, when we were looking at the types of returns they were looking at, it was a bit of an issue. He was 66. She was 69. He was working. She was not. They had 2 kids, 4 grandchildren. And he said, you know what? I got about a year left in me. He wanted to retire. She was already getting her Social Security benefits. She was getting about $12,000 a year. They had about $1 million portfolio, a small pension, about $2,000 a year. And he wanted to start his Social Security at the age of 66. Okay. And that would give him like $41,000. And what we let her know was that she could actually start on spousal benefits once he did that. And that would give them an extra couple of grand a year, which was helpful. Yep. They had this super conservative portfolio because they had put all their money into treasuries. Got it. They were averaging about 4.3%. The thing is, the treasuries would be fine if they didn't sell them, because if they sell them, then they could be earning a different rate of return than that 4.3%. Right, Frankie?
Yeah, and that's what we looked into, is how does that portfolio perform, and what does a conservative portfolio with our recommendations look like? And with their current portfolio, they had about a 4% rate of return with the treasuries. With our portfolio, even if there was a major market crash like there was in 2008 where the stock market went down 50%, they would only go down about 10%. So taking 1/5 of the overall risk of the stock market, while getting around a 7% rate of return instead of a 4% rate of return. So about $30,000 more in interest on average per year by having that higher rate of return. And by having everything set up the way that we were able to set it up for them, they could live on more income than what they were living on right now. They were living on about $75,000 of income. And we showed them that if they wanted to live on more income, they could go up to $92,000 of income per year, an extra $17,000 more to spend how they wanted.
But there was a little hitch, wasn't there, Frankie?
There was. And that was, he said, I always wanted a Porsche 911. And I said, okay. Well,
not a cheap car.
No. Let's see what that looks like. And then let's also look at the car insurance and how much that's going to cost.
Right.
But what we said is, okay, we're going to run the numbers. And we saw, all right, well, what does that run for nowadays? And it's about $130,000 for a Porsche 911, a brand new one. And we said, okay, well, are they able to afford that car and still live on the income that they're living on right now, plus the amount for the insurance? So we took that $130,000 out to be able to pay for the Porsche to see what that would look like. And then they still would be able to live on the $75,000 they're living on now, plus another $11,000 of income per year for a total of $86,000 of income. So covering that extra expense for the car. And they know now whether to make that decision or not and what that looks like. How cool
is that, to be able to look into the future and figure out, can I do this or not? You know, and to figure out you can do it. Now, okay, well, it's going to cost me about $6,000 a year to do it, and we just have to make the decision what we want more.
Yeah. Would I rather have the $500 a month, or would I rather drive around in that really cool Porsche 911?
Yep.
So we showed them what it looked like, and they were very pleased. They were very excited to be able to be like, wow, it's not just a dream. I can actually do this if I wanted to. And to be able to give people the freedom to not have to worry about, well, I shouldn't get it because I don't know if I can, or I don't know if I can. I'm just going to wait. And waiting's the last thing you want to do. You want to drive that car, go drive that car. Let's see if we can make it happen. And if you can, go enjoy it. And that was their situation. So if you haven't had that portfolio x-ray done for you, showing you what your current positions are, showing you how your current portfolio performance is, and what alternative options there are available for you to be able to enjoy and get more out of your retirement, you need to give us a call, and we'll be able to put together a portfolio x-ray for you and show you what everything is currently, what is the risk associated, what are the returns, as well as those alternatives. And we're going to be offering that right now for the next 5 callers. So if you're 55 and older and you've saved $500,000 or more for your retirement, give us a call, 610-440-3722. That's 610-440-3722.
You have goals for your retirement. At A Better Way Financial, they are here to help you find ways to achieve those goals so that you can drive that car or take that trip or do the things that you have wanted to do for decades now in your working years. Let's get to work putting it in a plan that works for you. Again, that number you're dialing, 610-440-3722, 610-440-3722.
Thanks for listening to Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida. To learn more, visit abetterwayfinancial.com.
By contacting us, we'll review aspects of your retirement portfolio to include suggestions about how best to utilize estate, tax, and retirement planning strategies and other financial services, or if changing management styles is appropriate for your specific needs and objectives. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendations to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. A Better Way Financial is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any client experiences discussed during this show are unique to that client, and they are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Advisory services offered through A Better Way Financial. Insurance offered through licensed professionals at A Better Way Financial. Pennsylvania Insurance License number 301779.